Hello, good day. Welcome to InstinctHub. So today we are going to be having another tutorial, and basically today I would be teaching you how to create CG objects, like whatever. But basically I'm starting with like the first steps towards creating maybe a CG realistic stuff and thereabout. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how to work on Marvelous Designer. Maybe you want to create a clothes simulation as a 3D artist and it's kind of very hard for you. So I'm going to show you a software called Marvelous Designer and how to use it. Basically, I've been thinking over what I could show you guys. Like maybe you created an animation and you want a clothes simulation in your animation. So what I'm trying to do with this one is I'm going to show you Marvelous Designer, how it works. It's an amazing software, and we'll just be going through the features of Marvelous Designer and how to use it. So the first steps, if you want to use Marvelous Designer, apart from you installing Marvelous Designer on your PC, the next thing is you need something that would simulate the clothes. And what I would advise you to do is you get a 3D character. Now, if you're running out of time that you cannot get that 3D character, but you needed to just get something done, what I would advise you to do is you go to Mixamo. Mixamo is an amazing software created by Adobe. So on Mixamo, you could pick all these character animations and character simulations. So I'm going to use the Xbot. There's like a robot here. This robot, it's called the Xbot. You could just select it from under character. They have a lot of characters under Mixamo. You could select any character, but if you just type in the Xbox, you get it. Now, once you have the Xbox, the next thing is you have to look for an animation that you want to actually simulate and make the cloth move according to it. So I'm just scrolling down to actually look for something that would show an amazing animation. So I'm just scrolling down, so you could go from page 1 to 2. You could pick however you want to pick on whatever you want to pick. So right here, I'm looking for a simple animation. So we're going to I'll just keep scrolling until I see a very, very good animation to use. So we could also use maybe a walk cycle. If you check it, it has amazing mocap simulations and animation. So you could just go over it and look for which one you want. Okay, we're going to use this Orc Idol. Now on the Orc Idol, okay, this is just so once you click it, we're going to see what the animation is about. Now you can see this Orc Idol, the character is just standing as though it's breathing in and out. So if you find this character very okay, you could just go ahead and download. But before you download it, there's something, if you want to do a clothes simulation, if your character happens to have its hands close by to its thigh, like this one here, I think it's necessary that you actually space out the hand so that you don't have the issue of the hand picking up the clothes when you're simulating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do character arm space here. So once you do character arm space, now you see the hands are separate, spread out. So once I've done that, what I could just do, I'm stopping the animation because of the internet. So I'm going to just download that animation process. So the beautiful thing about Mixamo is it downloads your file as an FBX, and every 3D software uses an FBX. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare this animation for the next phase. So what would we do? We come over here and launch Blender. I already have Blender launched, and this is an old version of Blender. Like I told you, I'm an old guy. So I sometimes doing something in a kind of non-conventional way. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to import that particular FBX. So I'm going to import FBX and I'm going to go to where I have it. So I think I have it on my C drive on download. So I'm going to say import FBX. So I'm going to go to desktop. Orc IDO is right here. So you click it. So we're just going to let it load up. And yeah, so we have it, the animation loaded. So I'm just going to scale it down a bit. And I actually scaled it because I want to prepare the animation. So now, another thing you need to do once you're doing this animation is you need to make sure your character is on what I call the T pose. T pose is like a T. So your character's hand has to be spread out because when you're going to clothe it. So what I'm going to do on Blender, I'm going to just, from the start frame, I'll turn it to 0. So I'll take my just my marker here down to the start of the frame. So once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do, you go to dope sheet. So under dope sheet, I am going to, now I have my animation selected. So I'm going to go to pose mode in Blender. Then I'm going to press Alt R and Alt G. So once you do that, immediately it sets your animation to the beginning, like the first frame before it's being animated. It's just going to put it in a T pose. So once you've done that, press I and you click on lock, rot, and scale. That's location, rotation, and scale. So you have that marker. If you check now on the 0 frame, it's going to be T pose. But once it gets to 1 frame, it's going to start moving. Exactly. That's what we want to do. So that's how you prepare your animation. Simple. So the next thing we're going to do from here, we're going to set the frame is 160. That's the end of our animation. We're going to change back to timeline. So I'm going to set the frame back to end frame to 160. So that's all we're going to have from the animation. So our animation starts from 0 and ends at 160. So now once you've done this, the next thing you're going to do is very simple. You have to export it as a collada. Now, what do you mean? The format for a collada, when you export an animation for a collada, no matter where you open it, every adjustment you've made is going to show up on Marvelous Designer. Everything we've done is going to show up on Marvelous Designer. So I'm going to export collada. So I'm going to go look for somewhere and put it there. So I am going to put it in a folder I had. So you're just going to look for a folder and I'm going to name it. Just name it Breathe. So I'm just going to export it. So you will just export it. Then now from here, let's load Marvelous Designer. I'm just going to click Marvelous Designer and it's going to load up. Why the collada exports? Now Marvelous Designer is loading up. So let's minimize the collada. So Marvelous Designer is beautiful. I started using Marvelous Designer. Sorry about that. I started using Marvelous Designer starting from Marvelous Designer 5. And over time, it's gotten better and better. So we're just going to let it run like that. And the beautiful thing about Marvelous Designer is the interface is not a heavy interface. And every animation we're going to make, everything is going to be done right in the software. That's how beautiful Marvelous Designer is. Now, Marvelous Designer is loading up. Now, as it's loading up, the next thing is let's check our collada and see if it's done. Okay, it's still exporting. This is Marvelous Designer for us. It's going to bring up some welcome and a lot of things about GP simulation, retopology. I'm not going to go into retopology or subdivision or half pattern symmetry. I'm just going to start up from here. I'm just going to close that. Let me check again if our export is still going. So our collada is done. You could save this if you want, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, we have to import it. So how do we import? We have to import. Now, you remember when we exported from Blender, we exported as a collada. So when you're going to import, you're going to import it as a collada in Marvelous Designer, pardon me. So we're going to do import. We look for the image where I saved it. It says breathe. So I say open. Then we're going to do, you could click auto scale and you're going to like say, okay. So it's going to load up. Marvelous Designer is just going to load it up. T-pose. Yeah. Yep. Now this is our animation. You can see now Marvelous Designer is actually broken into two parts. We have this particular interface here that looks like a 2D art. This is where you model or you sew the clothes or you cut out the piece of the clothes, and this part is where we create how it's gonna line out. So over here you have a lot of stuff about, but this is your avatar basically. So now that you have your avatar, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to sew the cloth. So you're going to come over here and you see this tool here. It's called the polygon tool. Then you're going to click the polygon tool. Then you're going to do halfway. I'm going to click here. Then I'm going to draw it out exactly what particular. So we're going to do a shirt and a pants. I'm sorry. Let me start again. So I'm going to do a shirt and a pants. So I'm going to like shoulder, sleeve. So I'm going to make the shirts a bit long. Yes. Then I'm going to like kind of do, but while you're doing it, make sure there's space within the shirt. So I'm going to make the shirts like have this angle to them. Then I'm going to come here, click it and join it at the top. So once you've done that, you have kind of like a shirt stuff going. So now it's going to come here. So when it comes here, the next thing you're going to do, I'm going to just, I'll pick this tool here. This is like the point tool. So with this point tool, you get to, create additional points rather. So you pick this tool here. I'm going to click out. So I'm going to line out the shirt. So I could create other points with this. So I could just keep it that way. So I think I don't need to do that yet. So the next thing I'm going to do, once you've done this, to use this tool, you could just hold your right click and to rotate. Hold the middle mouse button to drag. And that's about all you need. Right click to go around the axis. So I'm right clicking right now to go around the axis. So I'm going to line out this shirt. So I'm going to click the shirt with this tool. So to go to side view, you just press 4 to go to your side view. So I'll just line the shirt according. So I'm going to rotate. Now you see the shirt is lined out how I want it lined. Now you would say to me and be like, hey, you're showing that you're modeling just one side of the shirt. Where's the other side? Now on Marvelous Designer, it's quite easy to do that. So you pick this tool here, click out, and you click this line. So once you click this line where the shirt ends, you right click on it and you say unfold. Automatically Marvelous Designer creates the other side of the shirt. So you don't need to model the two sides. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to delete this point here. We don't need it. By right clicking, you delete that point. Then I am going to create some points, necessary points, one at the neck to create that rounded feel. Then I'm going to go back to my point tool here. Then I'm going to delete the center point, delete point. Now, with that, we want our shirts to kind of like have this, kind of like it's round, like a round neck shirt. But I'm not going to do that now. The next thing I'm going to do is quite easy. What I'm going to do is this particular shirt here, I am going to rotate it. Now, I need to do the back shirt. So to do the back of the shirt is quite easy. So one of the things you do is you take this shirt right here and you press Control over here. You select it over where you're sewing it, this interface, the 2D pattern window. You click copy and paste. and you put it right beside it. So it's going to create an alternative here. Like you could see it now. We have like another shirt. So for this one, you're going to right click on it, and you're going to, when you right click, you will go to flip horizontal. Don't flip normal, flip